This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And welcome to my review of Star Wars Legacy of the Force Revelation. And honestly, this is a really exciting novel. It is the second to last one in the Legacy of the Force series. And it has multiple major moments, including Karen Traviss going and killing off another of Timothy Zahn's characters, this time being Admiral Pullian. Just really kind of funny how in this series a bunch of Zahn's characters are killed off, and well, they're all done by the same author. Well, technically, Jason's also one of his characters, and that's killed by a different author, but two of his Imperial adjacent characters were killed off by the same author, so it's just a funny coincidence. But just going and taking a look at this, this is another really good novel. I took me a little longer to read this one, although the last novel in this took me like a week to read again because it was just that exciting, and mainly I just like wanted to finish it because of how interesting the story was, so I finished it in like an afternoon. But I'll be talking about that in the next review. But with this one, did have to pull up the summary just to make sure I didn't accidentally go into the final book, which happens when you go and read so many of these novels in a row. But with this one, there's definitely some interesting things. The weakest of the storylines that really doesn't pay off till the next one is Ben Skywalker going and proving that Jason was the one who killed his mother. He has a suspicion that it was Jason and it was not Alma, who everyone else suspected it was. And he goes and finds enough circumstantial evidence and then gets a confession from his officer friend that works under Jason that is able to go and definitively prove it alongside the evidence, since Jason obviously could have been lying in that, but him saying that and all the other evidence Ben was able to find proves that Jason was responsible for Mara's death. And with that, solid story, but obviously it is not the biggest part of this. This is just set up some stuff in the final novel where Luke isn't able to go up against Jason, knowing that if he kills him, he'll be out of revenge. But I'll talk about that in the next video. So, going back to this one, we also have a really great storyline of Jaina going and training with Boba Fett to be able to go and take down her brother, knowing that she needs some kind of advantage that he doesn't have, since he had all these different force techniques he learned over the 5 years in between New Jedi Order and Dark Nest trilogies. Well, the Jedi Saga and the Dark Nest trilogy word that poorly, but with it, he has all these different skills that give him great advantages, and some of which he doesn't even know he's gained yet. And with that, it is honestly just super interesting to see. And I do think that I'll mention this in the next one, that this probably could have either used maybe not one more novel, but it could have used a few more chapters in the last book because there are some things that were kind of rushed. But again, that's for the next video, which is something I was hopping into my head right now. But just going on to continue with this, everything with Jaina's storyline is nice. You get to see that Boba Fett does have some humanity behind him, although he's ultimately not a good person, and you get to see some nice looks into Mandalorian culture before the thing that pushed Karen Traviss to stop writing Star Wars novels, which is the insane amount of retcons they made to Mandalorian culture in the Clone Wars. And it seems like she was ultimately fine with the original of the Clone Wars series at first, because she did go and write one of the novelization of the movie, and she also went and wrote one of the Clone Wars novels I have already reviewed. But just going back to this, it was just really interesting to see the Mandalorian culture of Boba Fett, his granddaughter Mitra, and her ultimately getting married and going and getting a good friendship with Jaina. It was honestly a really solid storyline, and Boba Fett was basically holding everyone back so he could let Jaina kill Jason because he knows that the Skywalkers and Solos would blame him if he is the one who did it, even if they did realize it was necessary. It'd be better for him to go and have Jaina do it. Plus, it's not exactly going to be uh, too much of an advantage against Sith Lord because Boba Fett realized pretty quickly on what Jason was becoming and wanted to get revenge by making him suffer and by making his family suffer. But just going through everything with the final storyline in this, with Jason going and it's becoming just way worse. He is going to try and lead the Corellian Confederation into another final victory trap, and he's going to attack just another world. And with that, Niathal is trying to hold him down as he is trying to convince the Imperials also to go and work with him. And while they're tentatively working with him, they go to attack Fondor, and things start falling apart pretty quickly when the people of Fondor surrender, and Jason, now fully Darth Kaitis, goes and orders for the forces under his command to continue fighting. Niathal refuses and tells him if he doesn't stand down that she's going to take him down. Kaitis, of course, refuses, and they go to attack Niathal and any forces loyal to her. She tells the Imperials to go and work with them to defend Fondor, and Hellion is on top of this, and he wants to go and help them, but Tahiri, whose fall was obviously really not handled well in this, where it wasn't explained super well, and there is ultimately a redemption for her in the next book, but it feels like they could have done a lot better with her in this, and it does feel rushed with her specifically as a character. But she goes and follows Jason's orders, which are very not specific, and he's basically saying it without saying it, which is a point that I do remember is brought up later on in Legacy of the Force, not Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi. This is Legacy of the Force, but in that where Tahiri's put on trial for the atrocities she's committed under Kaitis, and with that, it is ultimately the murder of Pelion, which she's on trial for in this, and her killing Pelion in this is going to cause her problems later on, but also they kill Pelion basically like the best Imperial to ever exist since he was a good person. He believed in the Empire's cause, but he didn't believe in basically all the evil stuff that they did, and was one of the few voices of reason and sanity inside of it. And I mean, even the good guys respected him. He made a secret deal with Dala, and she, to basically everyone besides Pelion, shows up out of nowhere and goes and devastates Jason's forces and once again puts him into retreat. And ultimately, it is a victory for the Galactic Alliance in exile, and Jason is, or like Titus is just really furious now. He is wanting to go and just destroy everyone that's got on his bad side, and it's not exactly going great for him. Things are just honestly just getting more and more intense with it, and ultimately this is leading to a very, very epic final confrontation in the last book, which I really did enjoy. As I said, it does have a few pacing issues, but besides that, honestly, that last was pretty good, but I'll be talking about that soon. And yeah, with this, it's honestly just a really great story. It's just super interesting to go through it. I really enjoyed this book and it took me a little longer to read it, but still got through it and was really enjoying it and thought they did a great job. But yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think about it. Please leave it in the comments and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the force be with you.